Flat Earth Debate live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a Ko-Fi, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. Now we are joined by Brian's Logic, Neil, Click OK, and a whole bunch of people in the Flat Earth Debate Discord server. So, welcome one and all.
Yeah. How are you?
Morning.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You all had a good weekend? Nice relaxing break for you all, hopefully.
Yeah, Ball Busters was great. I looked forward to that. It was an awesome show.
Yeah, I was down at my folks and I tuned in thinking, oh, I'll tune in and jokingly say you may begin an hour and a half into the show, which is the point that I got to tune in. And I tuned in and I'm like, oh, they've already finished. That seems weird. Short show. And then it played out for 6 minutes and I'm like, where's the rest of it? So I left a few messages in Skype and I don't know, 24 hours later, QE got back in touch and said, no, I had internet issues, which I'd kind of figured by that point. So yeah, he lost his show halfway through. Well, not even halfway through, 6 minutes in, like right at the beginning. So before I'd even finished the clip that he was playing at the beginning of the video, the live stream had ended, which is a real pity. But there we go, such is life sometimes. Hopefully QE will don us with his presence today to let us know his internet issues and woes have been sorted out. We shall see. In the meantime, go on.
No, you're misunderstanding what's happening. Boy Zero has power over the ether, and he caused this.
Yes, if you say so, Neil. Boy Zero, the Sky Grifter, is basically Thor, and he's put electrical discharges into the network to bugger up the fibre optic connection to QE specifically. Of course, It makes perfect sense. Any evidence of this garbage?
Yeah, we couldn't have a show Saturday.
Not everything is the fault of somebody grifting for ether. Just grifting for ether. He's just lying because he's been caught out on his own false standards that he used to perpetuate this bullshit about ether with previously. We've called him out on his contradiction and he started lying about the standards that he now uses, like he's never claimed those things. That would be light travelling versus light doesn't travel. Now, if you're using that as a standard, then you need to be pretty clear if you're claiming it proves things and other people are repeating it in your name, which they are. Now, if that standard's changed, it's fine to be wrong, but if you then start lying about it, we're going to have a problem with that. And that's basically the main problem here. The lie, the bigger picture lie, is ether. It's just a big scam. There is no ether. It's total nonsense. But there's a lot of flat earthers that believe in this crap. And we point out where your charlatan gurus are lying to you explicitly. And when they're caught in the lie, do you know what they do? It's a real shock. They lie more. So what do you want? There's a few very small handful of people that are a little bit annoyed at me that I'm outing their guru as a scammer and a liar. Tough. Deal with it. Yeah, you've been duped. Second time's a charm, right? Yeah, if you feel more stupid this time than when you found out that you'd been lied to about being on a globe, don't worry about it. Everyone makes mistakes, and you're vulnerable. If you're one of the people moaning at me because I've outed your guru as a liar, which he is, easy to demonstrate. I'll do it in a couple of minutes. Just before the live stream started, happened to hear a nice clip of Witsit saying that he wasn't going to be using pseudoscience that's easily debunked. All right, well, I'll cut to you saying that we're proving it with the distance and the variation in the travel of light. Versus now, I haven't said light travels. The guy's a liar. We're outing Witsit as a liar. Witsit peddles ether. That's why he has to lie, because ether's a lie. Now, it's a poison in our community, and I don't mind the very small number of people that go, I can't believe you're pointing out that he's putting poison in our drinks. I'm really sorry for you guys. You're victims. Any other nonsense about Ether over the weekend as we're dealing with it right now?
Well, I think Mighty Mush put the question to him, why is he doing all of this? Why is he moving away from flat Earth and talking about Ether so strongly? And he said, because he wants to prove that Earth is not moving.
It's a negative claim. You don't have to do anything. Prove that Earth's not a unicorn. I'm good, right? I don't think I need to do that. If you want to say it is, you need to prove it is. I don't need to prove that it isn't. Moving, that's non-positive. If someone asserts to me that Earth's rising up at 9.8 meters per second squared, then they better damn well prove it. What's that? I've got to prove it isn't. I've got to prove it's stationary. Non-positive claim. I don't need to do a damn thing.
That's another lie, what he just said there. This has nothing to do with him wanting to prove that the Earth is not moving. That's easily done with other means, air travel and other things like that. Has nothing. What he's claiming there has nothing to do with that. That's just him trying to use that as an excuse to keep on punting this rubbish he's punting. That's all that is.
Yeah, I agree with that.
A couple of people are still unaware when we're like, why are you so angry? Why are you so triggered? Why are you so sweary? Why are you so angry? Why are you fighting with flat earthers? You're like, what we are doing is pointing out a charlatan within our community. Now, there might be plenty of people, like triple or quadruple the amount that there currently is that are exposed to me, personally, this channel, that are poisoned by this. But the ones that happen to come across us go, why are you infighting? Why are you being so nasty? Why don't you let Witsit speak? You're like, hello? Wood? Trees? Scammer? Being exposed for his grift and lies, but you're going to moan at me because I'm taking a tone with him. You're having me on. These victims are quite sad. It is pretty pathetic, the reaction we've had to exposing this grifter with really overt lies.
Yeah, I mean, the Mark Twain statement has never been more true than it is in today's world. It's easier to deceive people than to show them they have been deceived. You become the enemy.
Well,
Because it
then
means they have to face themselves.
Then why don't you take the bet, Brian? Why don't you take the bet? That's what you got from his little followers there. Bet. $50,000 bet. That should have opened all your eyes how much money he's grifting from you, is that he could bet 50,000. Not that he has it.
Well, at present we have Will Duffy approaching me about the bitch data, just so you know.
Well, before we move, let's just play him a clip. It's only 30 seconds, and then we'll move on to Will Duffy. Just pop yourselves on mute.
We're not, claiming pseudoscientific, unverifiable, crazy claims that can easily be debunked.
Come back. You told me what proved it was the traveling through it.
The difference in travel of light.
That can easily be debunked.
Now you're saying it doesn't travel.
I've said light does not travel.
So that doesn't prove it then, does it?
No.
Liar.
I've said light does not travel for many years,
So it's
long
not
before.
traveling through a vacuum proving ether then, you lying scumbag.
That can easily be debunked.
The difference in travel of light.
I've said light does not travel.
There you go.
He clearly stated that, and he has done several times, that he's not claiming scientific evidence. That means he's not claiming that he can prove this scientifically and gain scientific evidence through scientific method then. That means he is claiming pseudoscience by definition.
Yeah. So what he goes out and peddles to people is that he's super scientific. We're not peddling pseudoscience. We're not peddling stuff that's easily debunked. Really? Your own claims are easily debunked by your own words, you double-speaking scammer.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, Nathan, I got a question.
Feel free.
Whenever your book comes out, can you make sure the hard copy says Witsit edition?
Hard copy. What?
That's my joke.
I don't think I was ever exposed personally to this particular quote, but from what I understand, Witsit said that he read a lot of hardback books, making him smart,
He
right?
prefers hard copy.
Say again?
He reads hard copies. That's what he prefers.
I see.
Just make sure it says Witsit edition on the hard copy, please.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. There won't be that much, if anything, ascribed to Ether or Witsit in the book. This is an internal affair, right? An internal blip, a smear on the flat Earth community. At large, people think about flat Earth as it is. Yeah. On the anti-flat Earth side, they want to destroy what we debunk about the globe, which we shouldn't be doing with flat Earthers. But nevertheless, that's the situation as it stands. And then the perceived to be majority flat Earthers get you into flat Earth by name only, and then start talking about Ether. So it's a scourge on our actual community that do talk about the nature of Earth, how it's measured, how it's flat, which is what flat Earth should be. Now, shockingly, pointing out the nature of Earth having never changed from its flat Earth measurements then till now are the ones that are most heavily suppressed, and the ones that punt total crap and have to lie when they're caught out in their nonsense standards that don't make sense anymore by their own admission. They'll lie to you. And a lot of people are holding these people up as gurus, and these same gurus are calling us, periodically, scammers. They're calling us the scammers. And the justification is because they're saying, these scammers say science proves things. These are the same people going down to Antarctica to do a quasi-experiment, saying they haven't got pseudoscience, and then peddling the Lite movement / I've never claimed Lite moves as proof of Ether. This is a shambles. Now, what's the solution? Well, we should be in their position. We should be promoted above the scammers and the fraudsters and the bullshitters within the community, but we're not. We're suppressed. I'm doing it in a la-la-land way because there's no way anyone's going to hold me to, you saying that you should be in their position. No, what, at the bottom of the pond, because we're all unilaterally suppressed. But I'm saying, who should be at the top of the tree? The people talking about some side subject, true Earth and Ether, or somebody who's talking about how Earth's measured in the subject of flat Earth. It should be obvious, but it really isn't. Why? Well, from day one, when in a conspiracy mindset, you get to this subject and are told the way to control the opposition is to lead it. Who's leading this opposition to the globe narrative? Who's really leading it? Is it flat earthers talking about Earth measurement? No. It's scammers and fraudsters, people calling everyone else scammers. Now, rain of fire comes down upon us when we point out actual scams. Meanwhile, the standard that we say science proves is worthy of deeming us scammers to the majority of the community. Yeah, open your bloody eyes and know who's leading this opposition. We're the opposition. Who's leading us? Now, if you got half a brain, you wouldn't have the people who actually know how to debunk your argument lead that opposition. So who is leading us? Yeah? Is it people on Netflix claiming with some absolutely useless crap that will never be practically applied to anything? Oh, whoops, it proved the globe. Or whoops, it proved we spin. They're our leaders. Yeah, open your bloody eyes. Now, people want to get on our backs because we say we're actually on the cutting edge. We are. We demonstrate how Earth is demonstrably flat, measured so. That is the essence of flat Earth. It's the only thing that matters. Where are we on the list? Right at the bottom. Below all the other crappy flat earthers that get a semblance of promotion through the algorithm. Why? I don't know. They're certainly not as heavily suppressed as us.
We're about to prove that as soon as Brian gets back in. I'd like to hear about this pitch data.
So moving on to Duffy.
Yeah, the other scammers. Well, Duffy, sent me a message last night. There's a question about he must have watched the video I made for him. Number one, he said this. He had a requirement of me conceding to something, right? Conceding that a globe map was wrong. That was his requirement. He didn't know that at the time. For him to watch my video originally. But it turns out he had watched it. He actually went and watched it, right? Without me doing that. So his standards obviously has dropped. And I respond to him saying, he was saying, like he said to me, he said, well, what would the pitch that, what would you expect the globe to predict? I actually did, 1 second, I'll get the, give me a second, I'll read them all out to you, right?
Yeah, I read it this morning.
My response, yeah, but I'll read it out to the audience so they know, right? Are you saying in number 5, which would be top number 5 in my list on my video addressed to him, that if the pitch data shows what you think the globe predicts, that means it has been altered, question mark, right? To the final experiment. We already got the pitch data, Will. It proves the flat earth as horizontal is never broken, as I knew it wouldn't be, because I understand the lift effect. And I said, here's the presentation. See the pinned comment for the response video to the responses to the presentation.
Can I just rephrase that? Because unfortunately, in text, you can't put the tone across, can you? You just can't get the tone. The intonation in your voice just isn't there when you're writing it in text. We've already got the pitch data, Will. Just wanted to put that in, with the correct tone.
Yeah, the data. Yeah. We already got it. The thing that Will didn't seem to have any interest in. Blah blah blah. I finish off this comment with, oh, and by the way, the globe is just a belief in your mind, Will. It doesn't have predictive capabilities. Beliefs can't predict things. They're not sentient beings. I get a response from Will, right? So 2 hours ago. The globe predicts countless things. For example, it predicts eclipse paths and a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. You can't deny this, right? And he carries on with, since neither you nor I are pilots, I found a pilot who will discuss pitch data with you. How does that sound? Question mark. My answer to him, the globe doesn't predict anything. It's a thought experiment. And eclipses are flat earth, seen as the Babylonians and the solar cycle. And there's nothing to discuss. The pitch data proves it's flat. You don't need to be a pilot to know what a horizontal line is. Maybe you don't understand horizontal lines, but me and the rest of the world sure do. Question mark. And by discuss, what you actually mean is debate. And by pilot, you mean Wolfie. Sure thing, I'll do that. My debate fee is €5,000, as I don't like having my time wasted. I used to debate for free, but Wolfie changed that by wasting my time. You could certainly get €5,000 together, Will, as not only are you a wealthy individual, but your globe community is filled with people who have money and would contribute. Question mark. Well, treating me like I'm stupid is not an attractive quality, but besides all that, I really hope that you get that money together, as I would crush Wolfie, and he knows it. He also knows, as you do, that the pitch data destroys your Antarctica grift, which is why you are going to get that money, as my time is not free and I don't like being treated like I'm stupid. Well, smiley face.
Just one word I'd change in that. You said destroys, like it's future tense. No, it destroyed the Antarctica quasi-pseudoscientific claim to be experiment, known as TFE. We put it to him when he's obviously read this email, gone through the video because he's got a bit of time on his hands, and then, oh, right, so you're saying if the pitch data does show globe, it'll be altered. No, we've got it. It's not globe-shaped at all. It proves Earth's flat. Game over. Done. We've undermined TFE because you're going to get down there via a plane. That's why Brian put it to you 2 months ago. In the meantime, we've already undermined your entire premise. Not that we needed to. Your premise was based on an antipodal assumption. But we've undermined the antipodal assumption. That's it. There's nothing left in your TFE. When you affirm the consequent, and if I say, I'm going to the bottom of a ball, then I'll see 24-hour sun, you're not going to the bottom of a ball, Will. Your antipodal assumption's debunked by this pitch data. You clown.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Hey, Chocolate. No, I absolutely agree. The sentiment I'm trying to get across, the sentiment I'm getting across to him is, if he wants to treat me like I'm stupid and behave like I wouldn't understand how the pitch data could work on the globe or any other rubbish like that, and Wolfie will explain it to me. You know, this absolute rubbish. Like, you're not treating me like I'm stupid. Now, there is another play he can make, which might force me into a different position, but that's all I'm saying at the moment. I'll tell you about that play if he makes it.
Who cares? You don't have to lay out the chessboard for us. You do whatever you want, Brian.
Yeah, no, it's just I know the kind of nonsense. He's a completely dishonest person, this Will. Right? In all my interactions with him, he's been dishonest.
Of course, he's claiming I've had interactions with him, discussions about free trips that didn't exist. Total liar. No such communication exists. He's a liar. Will's an outright liar. He's lied about communications he's had with me. None exist.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about it. Like, the pitch data destroys his grift. Now he wants to address it. That's the problem. Now he needs to address it because it destroys his grip.
That's correct.
Yeah, could have got involved. So he could preemptively have said, well, we need to describe how this flat earth proof horizontal reference to angles above the horizontal work on a globe before we got the data. But we weren't interested. Now, the reason he's interested is because exactly what I said earlier. It's undermining the premise that he begs the question of. If you're going to assume antipodal positioning, you need to assume that plane changes its orientation as it arrives in Antarctica from where you began. It doesn't. How would you set out to prove that you've changed your orientation with respect to your original position, making you antipodal on the bottom of a ball to start your observation? Beg the question, in other words. Well, you'd need the pitch data to show that the plane changed its orientation, and it doesn't. We've already debunked his crap experiment that isn't an experiment by way of taking it at the root of its begging the question fallacy and showing how that begging the question of antipodal assumptions does not fly, figuratively and literally.
Well, what he's going to do is come back with some nonsense, and he's probably going to try and find someone else to replace me. And that someone else will be somebody who he knows will jump at the chance, right? Not giving it any thought, or me any thought, or it will be somebody who is already in conversation with him to do this and to agree that the pitch data would work on a globe at the end of the debate. That's what he's going to do. That's what he's going to do, because that's what Wolfie does. They're going to find a proxy. That's what they're going to look for now, as a proxy. A proxy who they are already in control of.
Like a stooge.
A stooge. Yeah. Who will agree with whatever Wolfie says. Now, that's my prediction. Now, if he comes back with a different pilot, great. But, if he comes back with Trevor Austin or something, great. But Wolfie, I know what Wolfie is. I'm not totally stupid. This is purely him and Wolfie having a little, thing in the background. And as I said, they will find a stooge. Brian Leakey or someone, because he's a total stooge. Every time anything comes up, people like Brian Leakey are there. The final experiment, nonsense. Ether, upward rising Earth. Here they are defending it all. So that's going to be someone like him.
As you've mentioned him, right? Brian Leake, right? So while I was listening back to Brian specifically moaning, so I'm sure I mentioned this previously, been in quite a severe car accident or motorbike accident. That's why he had a big bandage on his nose when he was involved in that. And he had his excuses. Look, no one told me my mic was messed up or I sorted it out. But he also started talking about various different people that he's obviously friendly with. So Chris Crum. He was like listing off the stuff that Chris Crum had done. So there's obviously a whole community of people that have bought into this, including Chris Crum and Leake. So I've been getting in touch with Leake, going, look, come and have a chat with us, right? Because I don't want him to be our enemy. Now, when he's doing stuff that obviously is egregious to the cause, it's going to get highlighted, and there's going to be a tone from QE that's going to be rubbing anybody the wrong way if you're on the wrong end of him. Me too, to a certain extent, or a larger extent. Who cares? The point is, I have no grievance with Brian beyond things that he might say that are wrong. But that isn't anything to do with him personally. It's just the things that he says that are wrong that could be altered if he knew better. But he doesn't know better. Now he might hear this and go, how dare you? And it's like, I don't care. I just want to break certain things down for him so that he's not thinking, look, I've been in this subject forever and this subject of TFE is important and you guys are just demeaning me, calling me brains are leaking. Well, okay, you can focus on those things, which are QE's way of making humorous light of errors that he sees as egregious. Now, I would rather take a different tack with Brian personally and say, come on the show. Let us break down why TFE isn't important. Now, we're still going to break down the aspects of it that people deem incorrectly to be important. That doesn't alter the base premise, the fallacies it's based on. More importantly than any, the affirming the consequent antipodal assumption. That's the main crux of what this does. If I assume I'm on the bottom of a ball, then I'll observe 24-hour sun. I observe 24-hour sun, therefore I'm on the bottom of a ball. Now, we've already undermined that pitch data. Now, further to it, we didn't need to undermine it at its assumption. It's an assumption. It's a begging the question fallacy. To assume your outcome, to assume you're on the bottom of a ball before you do anything, and then say, because I've watched the sun do something, I'm on the bottom of a ball. No, that's the affirming the consequent fallacy. So we've already destroyed this before it was even getting its first foot in the water. Before it dipped its toe, we debunked it. The second we heard about it, it was debunked. Because you just break down the lack of logic that it does not stay consistent with. So pointing out the fallacious reasoning was already undermining it. But like with anything, the black swan is no different. We're going into their paradigm to debunk this with pitch data. Okay? So if we assume we're on the bottom of a ball, so we're going to be going to the bottom of a ball, then how would we demonstrate that? Well, we're going to travel by plane. Let's have a look if the plane ends up on the bottom of a ball. It doesn't. What does it do? What does it show? What's the data? The data proves Earth's flat. That's it. So we'll take the bit that we were utilising to undermine TFE as a standalone flat Earth proof, which is what it is. It doesn't just stand to undermine affirming the consequent fallacy. That's unnecessary. It's totally surplus to requirements. Meanwhile, nice flat Earth proof, though, isn't it? Yes, it is. Oh, well, Will's got in touch after the fact. You're shocking, isn't it? Not only shocking, predictable. Yeah, once someone's undermined you, you go, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. What do you mean? You've got a tunnel digging under me. Well, we did tell you. We tried to get you involved in the tunnelling process. We tried to join forces with you. You just ignored us and laid down conditional acceptances. What happened to your conditional acceptance? Now we've undermined, past tense, your TFE garbage. You're not travelling to the bottom of a ball. You're travelling flat. Pitch data proves it's good enough for the NTSB. It's good enough for me. What's that? You've got a pilot? I'm pretty sure the NTSB would override any pilot you could wash up into this discussion that's already been settled. We don't need a pilot. We know it's flat. So do the NTSB, so do all the flight data recorders, because they're showing it in black and white. It's actually purple. Anyway.
Yeah, but hang on, Nathan. I've got to point some stuff out here. If I tell you someone's a fraud for a good reason, now, I was contacted last week by someone in my comments. They said to me, how would you pull apart this upward rising out nonsense? That's what they said to me. They said it's a heap of nonsense. This person said they were around for a while in the background, but they are flat out, but they haven't really joined in on it. They said, how would you pull apart this nonsense? And I said, I already pulled it apart. And I brought up the thing about the weighing scales. And they said, could you make a video on that? And I said, if you want me to make another video on it, I will. I made a video on it before, but it was a little bit confusing for people. So I added a few different topics in at the one time. So I said, if you want to make a specific video on this, and he said yes. And I made it, right? Now, what I point out cannot be debunked, right, by any of these people pushing this upward rising out, right? There's just no way out of it. Right, it destroys that paradigm and that idea outright. I don't care what things they have to show, falling bottles, that has nothing to do. Whatever that is, has nothing to do with it now rising upwards. Everyone, it's totally understandable by anyone. All you have to understand is what weight is. It's that simple. Who comes in trying to defend it? Brian Leakey.
Yep.
Right, yeah. If I tell you someone's a fraud, he's a fraud, they're a fraud. AI Overlord is a fraud. Brian Leakey is a fraud. Have I been wrong about who I pointed out ever in the past?
Never.
Yeah. And I don't think I ever will be, Neil. Brian Leakey is supporting ESA, he's supporting upward rising out, he's supporting the final non-experiment. He's always there. He's one of these people. There's others, but Brian is one of these people that's always there on the wrong side of the track.
Victims.
No, but Nathan, when you break down the affirmative consequence, it's easy to understand. How come I understand it? You don't understand it? You got to bring him aside and bring him on the show to break it down for him. He knows what he's doing. Once in a while, you have to listen to us.
Okay, Neil. Well, that's very inclusive of you. Regardless, there's plenty of people who are victims of this, and if Brian Leake is the head of the spear for some perpetuation of this nonsense that's headed up by ether perpetuators like Whitsit and the rest of that crony crew, then so be it. But he's still, like I said about Chris Crum, affiliated with plenty of people who have obviously or are all fallen victim to this scam. Well, if I can appeal to their illustrious leader, Brian Leake, I'm sure he wouldn't claim to be, and he'd just say, yeah, I am into these things. Does that make me a shill? Does that make me a fraud? I would say no. I would say it makes him a victim. The fact that he's higher up the hierarchy of victimhood, so what? Doesn't mean I can't appeal to him, man to
Not a
man.
victim, he's a pusher.
He's not listening to us, Neil.
He's a pusher of it.
Maybe that's because we insult him and call him brains are leaking.
No. Why
don't ever
would
call
he
him
get that name? Because he's pushing the nonsense.
Okay, well, in either event, I'm not going to be led by who I appeal to. It's just, he's out there, he's doing it. Why not? Like he says, listen to what he's saying. I've been out here 10 years doing this. So you go, why not listen to him? Okay. So you demand respect. Fair enough, I'll give it you.
He demands respect because you've been out here 10 years. That's even more of an indictment. Are you freaking retarded? You've been out here 10 years and you're still promoting things like ether and freaking upward. Can you make a video debunking? What kind of stupid question is that?
No.
Anyway.
Nathan, if you continue down this road, people are going to start thinking you're a shit.
Yeah.
Because how much evidence does somebody
I am a
need?
shill. Smash that super chat to support this channel. Hit me up on PayPal.
I'm trying to help you.
It's a joke now. See, Nathan, do you remember when me and Neil were trying to get you to take the whole Bob Nodell thing and ether thing serious? And it was all a joke to you. When we were trying to get you to take something serious.
I seem to remember that. And he started mocking me with ghosts, remember?
Yeah, and I got mocked as well. When we're trying to get you to take something serious for a good reason.
He's saying, but it's not that I'm not taking something seriously, right? It's not like I don't participate in the criticism when Brian Leake specifically gets something wrong. I will. And that's not going to change. It doesn't mean I can't reach out to him proactively. I can. You're saying, well, you need to take this more seriously. What? Not reaching out to people proactively when I see that they do seem to be reasonably well networked with people we do not know.
It's not about Brian Leakey, right? He's just one sector of it. It's about you being in this for almost a decade, just basically like in the next couple of months, it'll be a decade for both of us. And you still can't see when somebody's obviously a proxy, when someone's obviously like always defending the wrong things. That person and people like that person, there's no ifs, buts, or maybes about it. They're not genuine people.
I don't know if I agree. I don't know. People are people. People used to do this all the time with me when people would talk to me online back when I was dating. And you'd have people giving you all sorts of advice about who wasn't real. That's not a real person. And I'm like, for the most part, it's just a dude sat at the end of a keyboard. Now, yes, I appreciate there's AI now, and there's plenty that can pass the Turing test. But it doesn't alter the fact that, for the most part, there are actually people at the end of these keyboards. Brian's just a dude. So he's not a real person, or he's got ulterior motives. I don't buy it. Now, could I be proven wrong? Yeah. Does that mean that I'm not going to at least try and reach out to him proactively and say, look, what's the worst can happen? He joins the show and clearly demonstrates himself to be very shilly, let's just say. Well, that's going to get called out on the show, isn't it? If he was to attend. Take me up on us attempting to...
That's just it, Nathan. He will not join the show. I will lay dollars to donuts that he won't join the show. Because then he has no excuse.
Like they need one. If you're saying they're shilly, they don't need any excuses.
You're wasting your time, Neil. Some people
No.
No.
Exactly.
If he joins the show, absolutely wasting our time. listen. I'm going to listen to all these other people instead of listening to the panel members who were all right all the time in the past when I didn't listen.
I'm not
Okay.
saying I'm not listening to you. I'm obviously listening to you. You've got my ear right now. Don't pretend I'm not listening to you.
Listening and hearing are two different things.
Oh, here we go.
Exactly. It goes in one ear and out the other.
Yeah, don't give me the white man
Never,
can't
never
jump
gets
crap.
digested.
I'm hearing you, right? I'm hearing you. And it's making me reflect on it in ways that I hadn't before, which is presumably what you're trying to achieve. So I have to acknowledge that fact, and I can brace against it initially and justify my reasoning behind my proactive endeavours to reach out to somebody who you say is a creature of habit going through the same mistakes over and over again. Oh, well, that's so unique in humanity. What are you talking about?
It's not, as I said again, I'll point out again, it's not specifically about Brian Leake. He's just one person.
Oh, fair enough.
I'm talking about when we said it to you about Bob. You didn't listen. Darren, you didn't listen.
Yeah, you did draw a comparison, and I quickly brushed past it, so I might as well acknowledge it.
Yeah, well, it's an ongoing. See, the problem is that's an ongoing trend.
It's an in-joke. If I don't, I've got to enlighten the audience, and it means I've got to eat humble pie to do so, Brian. So I'm sure you'll be delighted as you just sit back. Anyway, Brian and specifically Neil, as they're the only ones here that I can reference in regards to this, told me at QE's behest, they were following orders, just being subservient, that it would be a travesty if we did not address in a very proactive, hard-hitting way at the time, ether. And they were saying it's a poison, it's going to poison the community. Eventually this will come back and bite us in the ass if we don't hit it hard and hit it now. And I was like, nah, people can believe whatever they like. It's a fringe. If a load of flat earthers got into ghost stories, who cares? It's fringe. It doesn't matter. How wrong was I? Okay? So Brian's saying, this has happened before with something that we've told you, take heed. And you didn't. And now here we are, having got to backpedal about our wrong position, me in this instance, and gain back ground that we could have easily taken without it needing to be gained back, right? We didn't need to do any of this if we'd have just stomped on it immediately. Now, by the time it actually was getting stomped on, ether specifically, not just the pseudo-scientific quasi-garbage that I dealt with on Globebusters 6 years ago, because that was just the tip of the iceberg. Ether head-on, yeah, Brian and Neil were going, no, we need to deal with this, and I was shutting them down, especially Neil. So I've got apologies. If you like Neil, you can have them. I was wrong, you were right, when I was saying, no, I don't want to hear this. It's not that big a deal. I was wrong to say so. If that's what you want to hear, I'll admit it. Here we are now. I'm not going to take ownership of this problem. Hell no. Me not taking proactive measures preemptively, I'm not going to say, well, therefore it's my fault. No, the scammers and grifters in our community that want to peddle nonsense and lie about it. Now, could I have done something about it? Would it have necessarily even helped? It might not have made a blind bit of difference. But I will take credit where credit's, or give credit where credit's due. You called this, and I braced against you calling it. Now, me aligning with you may have made no difference, just so you both know.
For a start, this is not about us or our egos or getting apologies. This has nothing to do with that. Right?
I'm suggesting it is. You were just right.
No, hang on. And on top of that, although QE was saying it to you years ago, he didn't instruct me or Neil to do anything. That was purely me.
I know. I was only joking.
Where we got that idea?
I was joking. I was joking, demeaning you, calling you subservient. It was a joke.
Don't know that. We're trying to point out to you. Look, you can talk to Brian Leake all you want, right? I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying don't do it. It's your show. You can do what you want. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying that there's just too many times. Like, there's absolutely no way I could ever give my trust, ever, to Brian Leake or, let's say, AI Overlord or any of these people. Absolutely never.
Okay. But when I get accused of trying to divide the community, how
many times does somebody have to show themselves to be inept? Yes. He's not that inept. He can do mathematics that are beyond what I can do most of the time. Yet he's completely fooled. Have you heard his accent? Do you think that people who come from where he comes from are all naive and are
That's the troubling
fooled
part
by-
of it, Brian.
Yeah,
The way
yeah.
he is in
He-
math, and you're going to tell me he can't figure this out?
he's not naive. Like, oh, he's just a naive flower blowing in the wind. Yeah, right.
Okay. Either way, there's people who are influenced, he's networked up, and in times where I'm accused of trying to divide the community, and I point out, no, I've proactively reached out to these people on these issues, and I've been scorned for it. And that's not me trying to divide a community. That's me trying to point out something that's in error, something that's not useful, something that's egregiously wrong in this instance with Ether. Well, if people want to see that as me dividing the community, I go, no. I will proactively reach out to various individuals in the community, especially if I see that they have a reach, an audience, people who respect them. Then, I'll give you that respect. Now, you're saying, no, he's demonstrably wrong more often than not. Yeah, that's why I'm reaching out to him. You're simultaneously giving it as a reason not to reach out to him. Fine, we're never going to see eye to eye. Now, could it be the case that I'm banging on the wrong door and this is a lost cause? Possibly. Certainly was when I was banging on Jaren's door, but if someone comes and says you've tried to divide the community, no, I've tried to explain certain aspects of celestial navigation to Jaren that he didn't understand. Tried to explain the Black Swan to Jaren because he didn't understand. I've tried to explain science to Jaren because he didn't understand. That's not me trying to divide the community. This is no different. And there's plenty of other examples where I do such things. Now, I would hope that just doing what I feel is right is what's built a bit of a community. That people go, no, I actually, on the most part, for the majority, because you kind of get everyone to agree all of the time, people go, no, I would do that too. Or I am pleased to hear that you've contacted Brian in this instance, proactively, and said, why don't you come on the show and have a chat with us? On the other hand, there's going to be a lot like Brian. They go, no, the guy's a shill. I'm not saying you said he's a shill.
I see your point, Nathan, and it does. I've always felt that you try to bring the community together more than never try to divide it. I don't know where they got that from. It's that people are going to choose their camps and they're going to stay in them, and that's it, no matter what, because it's pride.
Most of the time I've got a balance between the two hats. The YouTube hat that wants to grow the channel and the Flat Earth hat that's purely for the greater good of what, as a society, we see as the nature of Earth through indoctrination and brainwashing. In reality, the nature of Earth isn't changing anytime soon. It's always been flat and nothing's really changed. It's still dealt with functionally flat. So, doesn't in one sense, doesn't matter what we do. The Earth's always going to be flat. The fact that we've got a controlled structure that's specifically about that aspect not being that aspect, and I use my words carefully, well, that's just the way our times run. In times gone by, I'm sure the society was controlled with other different aspects. Not necessarily the nature of the flat ground that we dwell atop. But that's where we find ourselves. If we're super concerned that, oh no, flat Earth might go away if we're not constantly pushing back against the powers that should not be. It's like, nah, eventually the powers that should not be won't be able to sustain what is a massive lie. That won't continue forever. So, I mean, I could really do nothing. So it's just striking a balance between what people perceive needs to be done. And that is always social. It's never really to do with the ground. Let's talk about the ground for 30 seconds. Earth's measured flat. On screen now, elevation angle. Brian, what did you recently pick up from flights that could assert the same thing?
Pitch data that shows the plane is flying with an above horizontal pitch for its whole cruising altitude.
And as they negotiate the ground, the charts and such like, they're all globy though, right?
No, all the charts, all the data shows that it's flat.
So in summary, we're measuring the ground flat, we're charting the ground flat, we're creating maps with the celestial angles from a flat ground so we can fly around on it, and the data that we collect while we're flying on it is all flat. That was quick. That's pretty good summary, wouldn't you say? That took about 2 minutes. So everything else outside of that demonstrable, unquestionable, unarguable fact that Earth is flat, we've got a community separate to those facts. Now, that community might believe in other things that are beyond their realm of understanding. or been sold nonsense about what's beyond their realm of possible understanding also. But none of them have got anything to do with the way that the Earth's been actually functionally utilised forever and always will be. Flat. It's just side stuff that people think is important. Well, it's not. You know, whether or not Brian understands that TFE is not really an experiment, who cares? It's measured flat. That's it for the subject above this door in this classroom. That can be satisfied in 30 seconds. Oh, we're going to get told off by the head cheese. Hopefully he's not been listening. I hope it's Brian that's done something egregious. Hello, QE.
Hello.
Were you listening in, hearing something that was egregious that we'd done?
No. What you do now?
No, nothing. It's just sometimes you come at an ominous moment.
Stop, nothing. He's trying to reach out to Brian Leakey like there's some hope for the guy. And me and Brian are trying to warn him that he's constantly on the wrong side of the freaking fence.
Me?
Brian Leake.
Brian.
Oh, fine.
What is it? Be kind to dumb animal week?
I knew that was coming. I freaking knew that was coming.
It's hopeless. No, don't waste your time. But you will, because you have this empathetic part about you that cringeworthy.
I've got this cringeworthy empathy where I want my community to grow and want people who may have influence within that community to appreciate our arguments and do better with them. That's a terrible thing.
You're wasting your time with this one. He's dumber than a friggin' bag of hammers.
Okay,
dude.
let's try a different way. Let's just try and spin this. Okay. What's the most effective tool we have when we're showing people how effective the argument actually is? What's the best tool for doing that?
What are you talking about?
You're going to show someone how a point we make undoes zealotry. What's the best tool to show that to an audience member?
I don't care about this philosophical appeal here. Brains of Leaking has had plenty of chances, right? I've tried to explain things to him like at a first grade retard level for years, right? It's hopeless. But go ahead if you want to do it. It'll be pretty funny.
Well, if nothing else, what I was trying to drive at was that if it's braced against or not understood, me attempting to explain it to him could be of benefit to people listening.
Go ahead.
Do what you want.
Oh, thanks.
Do what you want.
Thanks. Oh, thanks so much.
Well, no one here is telling you what to do, so don't turn it into that. We're trying to advise you, and you're doing your best to philosophize your way around it. So
spin. It's called spin.
Yeah, spin a different story.
Yeah, spin a story that you
What's that?
I was just saying spin a story that you all tolerate, because you're obviously intolerant of this, which is fine. You're entitled to your views.
No, go ahead. Do it.
What is it that Brian is not getting that Nathan is trying to reach out to him for? Like what?
TFE specifically. My main endeavor is to explain the affirming the consequent fallacy. More specifically, the antipodal assumption. That's really all I want to achieve with him.
Isn't that sad, Chocolate? That
wait,
10 years?
You're saying he doesn't understand that?
Would he be on a quiz to get a free ticket that doesn't exist if he did understand that, Chocolate? That's the point. He's on the quiz, fighting for how important this is and telling us we're not getting how important it is and should be taking it seriously. I'm like, here's a man who needs to understand how antipodal assumptions work so he doesn't care anymore. Oh, yeah. Can't believe I thought that was important. That's the place I want to take him to.
Not that you thought it was important, that he hasn't gotten it by now.
Understood the insignificance.
Nathan.
Yes.
Nathan, only last week. Go on, keep the chocolate.
Sorry, Brian.
You go, bro.
I was just going to say, I mean, it's very possible to understand it and still want to participate in it. That doesn't, just because he wants to participate in it, doesn't mean that he
that he doesn't understand it. But
Well, if he's saying how important
yeah,
it
if
is,
he just does it, then he just doesn't. I guess I don't know. It's crazy at this point. He's been in this a long time. How do you
No,
not
no, he
understand
doesn't.
the consequence
No,
of
no,
this?
he doesn't understand it. No, he doesn't.
There you go. So I see it's a worthy endeavour from that point alone. Go ahead, Brian. What's my problem?
You got a couple hours?
Very funny. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've got a couple of hours. QE's take on Brian Leakey and my take is different. QE's take is that Brian is not very smart. My take is that Brian is smarter than he lets on to be, and that he's a fraud. That he's a proxy for the other side.
You're finished.
Getting rumpus.
You're finished. I
Bring him on. Know that's what someone would do. Yeah.
Oh, you're way off base on this one. Bring him on.
But this is going to do my cause really a lot of good, isn't it? Arguing about whether or not he's too dumb to understand stuff. Well done, lads.
I'm not trying to do anything. I didn't say. I said that he wasn't stupid. That's what I said. So don't say, lads. You need to point specifically at QE here.
Okay. He's either a megalomaniac plotting and playing stupid like the guy in like Kaiser Sose.
No, he's not playing. He's not playing.
He's not Kaiser Sose.
no, he's definitely not Kaiser Soze.
Anyway, let me fill the QE in on the bit of news. Will Duffy has been in contact.
Really?
Remember the Remember the video I made addressed to him that when I sent it to him via email that he said he would require me to concede to whatever rubbish right before he'd even watch the video.
Are you doing a crap job? Just let me fill him in. Imagine you're Duffy and you've reached the point where you're recognizing that Brian is asking for something in the future to do with confirming his antipodal assumption, and that's pitch data. So he's being approached saying, if, future tense, we can get the pitch data, he's responding in that context. Go ahead, Brian, sorry.
Well, I don't know where I'm supposed to go ahead from now because you took over what I was saying. So where do I start now?
By telling him what he said in the second response.
Okay. I'll read them out again. That's the easiest thing to do, right? Okay. So, Will Duffy approaches me last night there, or during the night, on my video concerning, or addressed to him. The final experiment. Are you saying in number 5, that'd be point number 5 in the video, that if the pitch data shows what you think the globe predicts, that means it has been altered, ? That's his question to me. I respond with, we already got the pitch data, Will. It proves a flat earth, as horizontal is never broken, as I knew it wouldn't be because I understand the lift effect. Here's a presentation. See the pinned comment for the response video to the responses to the presentation. Oh, and by the way, the globe is just a belief in your mind. It doesn't have predictive capabilities. Beliefs can't predict things. They're not sentient beings. He replies with, Brian's logic. The globe predicts, this morning, the globe predicts countless things. For example, it predicts eclipse paths and a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. You can't deny this, right? Then, next paragraph, right? Yeah. Next paragraph. Since neither you nor I are pilots, I found a pilot who will discuss pitch data with you. How does that sound? ? Right? At the final experiment, my response. The globe doesn't predict anything. It's a thought experiment. And eclipses are flat Earth, see NASA, the Babylonians, and the solar cycle. And there's nothing to discuss. The pitch data proves it's flat. You don't need to be a pilot to know what a horizontal line is. Maybe you don't understand horizontal lines, but me and the rest of the world sure do. ? I continue on. And by discuss, what you actually mean is debate, and by pilot, you mean Wolfie. Sure thing, I'll do that. My debate fee is €5,000, as I don't like having my time wasted. I used to debate for free, but Wolfie changed that by wasting my time. You could certainly get €5,000 together, Will, as not only are you a wealthy individual, but your globe community is filled with people who have money and would contribute. Well, treating me like I'm stupid is not an attractive quality, but besides all that, I really hope that you get the money together, as I would crush Wolfie, and he knows it. He also knows, as you do, that the pitch data destroys your Antarctica grift, which is why you are going to get that money, as my time is not free and I don't like being treated like I'm stupid with. Smiley face. Now, he actually replied. Right? Oh, here's his reply. I'll read it out live. I charge €5,000 to schedule a debate. So if you pay me that, I will schedule a debate between you and Wolfie. And then I'd also pay you €5,000 for your debate fee. Sound like a plan? I'll respond to that later. So his charge to schedule a debate is €5,000. He just basically offered me a debate.
No,
so
you
now
reply going, I found someone who'll. Oh no, brilliant! Thank you for agreeing to my fee of £5,000. Fortunately, I've found someone who'll host it for free, so we don't need to pay your £5,000 fee. When are you going to pay me?
Yeah, exactly. I can say that to him later.
Just for clarity, did he say that the globe predicts 24 hours sun in Antarctica?
Yeah.
Okay, when did the globe predict that for Antarctica?
But globes don't make predictions. Globes don't make predictions.
Yeah, I know, Nate. Thanks. I'm just trying to say, I don't understand how they claim that the globe predicts something that hasn't happened yet, and that they're literally named something the final experiment to go find. How did it predict it?
I have no idea.
This is nonsense. Are you serious right now? Like,
they're confusing. There's two different things being confused. It's a necessary condition for their fantasy, as opposed to a prediction.
Let's debate flat lines, straight lines, and horizontals. That's what I want to do. Yeah, that'll be $10,000 for that one.
I mean, I've debated for a few £100.
You'll host that debate for free, Nathan. Yeah?
I'm a total whore by comparison. I'm a cheap whore.
Sorry, Chuck, very quickly. Nathan, you'll host that debate for free, wouldn't you, between me and Wolfie?
Well, like we're doing daily. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, but you'll be willing to, set up a particular situation where you're the moderator and there's only me and Wolfie.
Yeah, I could do it on the politics server, and I need to speak to Righteous about this, but there is means of us.
No, you could do it. Don't worry.
Yeah, it could be done.
You could do it for free. You could you could be a moderator and set up the debate between me and Wolfie for free.
To take out of the £10,000 pot.
Yeah, all I need is the €5,000 then.
Yeah. So instead of it being a £10,000 pot for Will Duffy to get $5,000, somehow this has now been introduced for some reason. I don't know why, but we don't need to pay that. Yeah. There's other means of doing it for free. And given that I run a daily debate show with no charge, it could easily be hosted here because there's a daily platform to do that. Yes, that's right. But you'd still need your £5,000.
Will you do it for free? I just need you to say yes.
Yes, I've said it about 5 times.
Okay, that's grand. So I can now tell Will Duffy that you'll do it for free. So all he needs to do is get the $5,000 together to pay me for the debate with Wolfie then. Because what he's looking for to do is me give him €5,000 and then him give me back the €5,000 I give to him. So I get nothing for my time.
That was so clever of him.
Yeah.
How incredibly clever.
I'd put his intelligence level right around Brian Leakey.
Why would you be paying him to host a debate? You're saying you pay him the extra $5,000? Why would you be paying him? You need your fee. If he's saying he needs his, okay. It's got nothing to do with you. You don't approach someone and go, hey, Michael Jackson, can you come and be on my show? Yeah, I'd love to be on your show. Oh, really? Well, we'll pay you $10,000. That's wonderful. Yeah, but you've got to pay me to host it. Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Duffy's dumber than a stump. Right around Brian Leakey level. I don't even know why you're dealing with this idiot.
I would have to agree, Brian. I've warned you so many times about Duffy. QE and I have tried to warn you about this, and we're never wrong.
Just bring Duffy on here. Don't ask him to at least personally invite you. because he hasn't done that.
He's just
Right.
lied about it.
Yeah.
He's got his other stooges like Mattoon lying about it, telling his audience that Nathan did something in communication with Duffy in regards to this experiment that I've apparently turned down. All right, is McToon going to show those emails? Where's that been communicated? Let's see that. Yeah, it's just a lie. Duffy just lies.
Nah, he's just dumb. He could be a liar too, but he's
a liar.
My cat's litter box is smarter than he is.
He's made out to his audience.
Same with all of them.
He's made out.
Haven't you been around here? Haven't you guys been keeping up on current events?
Okay. He's claimed he's had communication with me and he hasn't. That's a lie. There's no ifs or buts about this. He's a liar. You want to hear my latest clip? Yes, Nathan, we're all really keen to hear that played again. Talking to you, QE.
Yeah, go ahead. That's fine.
Robot Polisher brought out a video that was promoting the fact that lots of people are suggesting that globe earthers get annihilated by flat earthers, and then he put together a clip with lots of reasonably high profile names, Neil deGrasse Tyson being one of them, talking about how they wouldn't want to debate us. Then he intersects that with Witsit. Roll clip.
We're not, claiming pseudoscientific, unverifiable, crazy claims that can easily be debunked.
Come back. You told me what proved it was the traveling through it.
The difference in travel of light.
That can easily be debunked.
Now you're saying it doesn't travel,
I've said light does not travel.
so that doesn't prove it then, does it?
No.
Liar.
I've said light does not travel for many
So
years,
it's
long
not
before.
traveling through a vacuum proving ether then, you lying scumbag.
That can easily be debunked.
The difference in travel of light. I've said light does not travel.
Nice.
Yeah, there's been plenty of people in comments of the videos. Not the short that's 60 seconds. Because in the short, it's so egregious and so glaring that it's really hard to argue against him lying about what he has claimed to prove ether and now decries and lies about. It's so glaring in the short video, but that's still 60 seconds. And I'm like, why are people still saying what lie? Or, defending him by suggesting that we've treated him badly, which is all I seem to get. I'm like, okay, if you're going to question whether or not there's something overtly wrong here, reason for us to be pissed, then I'll break it down in a 30-second video. Not only break it down in a 30-second video, but with his platitudes. Is it platitudes? Towards the scientific endeavours of Witsit. We're not doing pseudoscience that's easily debunked. Light travels. Light doesn't travel. I've never said it travels. I haven't said it travels for years. But it travelling in the distance and the difference is what's going to prove ether. This guy's a complete charlatan. Yeah, there's plenty of people out there that still defend him like he's our guru, like he's our saviour. The saviour of flat Earth is a liar, if Witsit's it. Yeah.
Welcome to Shangri-La.
I mean, I'm more emotionally charged about it because I've spent years listening to these assholes tell their audiences that I'm a scammer. Why? Well, because science proves things. Oh, well, let's go down to experiment in Antarctica. After telling everyone that Nathan's a scammer because he's out there saying science proves things. So we'll go along with a quasi-experiment. In the face of us, A, telling our audiences that Nathan's a scammer because he says science proves things, and because we want to go and prove things with this experiment. You're like, oh my God, this could not be any more egregious. I've got a good reason to be pissed at these people like Witsit. Yeah? They're frauds. And they're in our community not talking about the subject at hand. They're not talking about flat Earth. They're not talking about Earth measurements. They're not talking about mapping. They're not talking about stars. They're not talking about flying or sailing. What are they talking about? They're talking about ether. The cosmic background radiation. They're just talking shit. And it just frustrates me, especially when they're calling me a scammer. They're the scammers. Yeah? Now, you can hear it in the tone of my voice when I'm getting really angry with Witsit, because he's caught red-handed doing it. Yeah? Now everything's calmed down a bit. I can just say, yeah, I'm pissed because we've got scammers in our community. And what are the scammers doing? Oh, well, they're poisoning the well for the people who actually do put really high quality information into the community. Like all the good arguments that everybody actually uses. Where do they all come from? I was about to say me. They all come from QE and Brian and 10th Man via me. Even that bit's not true. But you know what I'm getting at. What happens if they're taken seriously? Yeah, we're all, okay. All right, the jig's up. We were scamming you the whole time when we showed you the flat earth measurements. Yeah, they caught us. It's time for us to disappear. What then? What are you left with? Talking about frigging ether all day long? Is that what you really wanted? Yeah? So take heed. I said it at the beginning of the show. The people who want to lead the opposition are going to be the ones leading it down some crappy rabbit hole. In this case, ether. So pay attention to what people are actually selling you. Pick 5 things that we sell you on Flat Earth Debate that you couldn't go away and immediately verify by a cursory search. Something that we're speculatively telling you might be true. Name 5. I'll tell you something for nothing. You won't get to... You'll get to 1 where Brian has said, or Neil has said sarcastically, I think these people are actually cutting off QE's internet. You're like, no. If you can't take that as being a joke, bloody hope that was a joke, Neil. Witsit was blamed for your internet on Saturday, QE.
Oh, really? Did Neil do that?
Yeah, but we're doing it in jest. I'm not suggesting that Witsit's the background medium. You know what I mean? He's really
funny.
electro and he's travelled down your wires because he's mastered the ether. He's just not telling you that he knows all about it. He can travel down the fibre optics now. He's basically electro. All hail Witsit.
This internet thing is insidious, man. Late Saturday, just short. Late Saturday, it came back up with, upload in the 5760 megabytes per second, right? And I'm sitting there, all right, go to bed, wake up in the morning, Sunday. It's good to go, man. No problems. Every time I check it, I'm checking speeds like every 25 seconds. Then I get to yesterday evening and I'm back down to 1. I said, you gotta be kidding me. So they're coming out today to check it out later this afternoon. Something's going on.
Right.
That's it. Short story.
It's almost as bad as my situation. My game keeps crashing. 50% of the time when it loads, it just crashes. Really irritating. So I can empathise.
So we'll see about Tuesday. Hopefully they can figure it out. But it's good to go right now. Like I said again, I tested like 10 times this morning. Good to go. No issues.
Sound great now.
Yeah.
I need to.
Did you listen to the show before I deleted it?
I listened to the 6-minute clip, which is all that was there.
How was it?
It was just the clip that you opened with.
How did it sound?
Sounded fine. There was nothing wrong with it in terms of how it was. What YouTube can deal with complete garbage, and at the end of the rendering process, it'll sound fine, even if it's choppy and nasty and breaking up, and people have got the whirly whirl in the live stream. So long as it goes to render, what you get will be good.
I'm looking on here. OBS. I was 99% of the input wasn't getting through. I was losing frames. 99.8%. Dead red line.
Yeah. That's right. Eventually, it'll cut you off. It'll give you a low warning and then just cut you off.
Yeah, that's what it did. It was really bad. So hopefully, like I said, hopefully they'll figure it out. Be good to go for Tuesday.
Fair enough. I was going to cover a video today. All I've done is cover the clip I made just before we started the live stream. You can see that on members only if you want to happen to see it. It's not really got very much visually interesting going on beyond the backdrop of QE's live stream when QE happened to have Witsit on there with me yelling at him for being a charlatan and a fraud and a liar, and demonstrating how he's a fraud and a liar, playing clips of him being a fraud and a liar, and him lying about it. It was quite opening of what I thought would be the audience's eyes, but what it resulted in was lots of Witsit's victims lining up to tell us how badly we treated him. I can't quite...
Oh, really?
Have you not read the comments under some of those videos?
No.
Man, it's
I haven't
just
seen the
victims, man,
videos, to be
victims.
honest with you.
Stockholm syndrome victims all lining up to tell me how badly I've treated him and questioning me on why I'm trying to divide the flat Earth community. I'm like, here's a timestamp of which it's lie about ether. What do you want?
I bet you none of them.
It's the same thing they did on the show. Remember the White Knights? Remember
Yeah, same
how
thing.
they got
Yeah. Same exact
yeah,
thing.
they just started. Yeah, I put it right to him. I said, "Well, wait a second. Listen to this little short part, and you tell me." And then they brought up, why caterpillars crawl sideways. So that's what you get. That's what you're gonna get.
Or they demean themselves. Oh, well, I must just be stupid because I'm not getting it. Okay.
Yeah, the most egregious part isn't, Witsit or any other bumbling idiot pushing nonsense. It's the people that are Jedi mind tricked by it. That's the egregious part, and you can't fix that. I mean, they're going to get grifted. There's nothing you can do about it. It's not going anywhere. He's got more grifting to do. It's not going to affect him one iota.
Yep. Have you ever watched the scam baiting shows?
I have
Jim Browning,
random.
people are Jim Browning specifically will get people on the phone where they're in the process of being scammed, and he will lay it out for them in black and white. You are being scammed. Do not go and buy the scratch cards. And they will argue with him. No, I need to get the scratch cards because I've done a mistake when I've done a refund and I've given them too much money, or whatever the scam is. I'm mixing up scams here, but it doesn't matter. Yeah? They'll argue the toss with someone who's trying to save them from being ripped off. Yeah? It's the guy who comes up to you while you're playing 3-card Monty and goes, this is fixed. You are screwed no matter how you play. And the guy turns around and says, I just watched someone win $50. I just watched it. And you go, no. He's in on it. He's his mate. No, he's not. He just turned up for they're arguing with you. Yeah? I watched him turn up. He was nothing to do with him. And he walked away. He's disappeared now. He's gone. Yeah? That's what they'll do. Brian said at the start of the show, it is easier to scam someone than to convince them they've been scammed. It's Mark Twain, I'm paraphrasing.
Yep.
They've been live for an hour and a quarter. Doesn't time fly? I was going to cover a video that we'll probably end up covering tomorrow now. The math that proves the Earth isn't flat, but I'm not going to do calls to action. I'm going to round out and ask people to stay tuned. Whoops. Moving my screen around. Any last comments before we round out this live show?
Yeah, do the video now.
Do the video now? What, 4 more hours live? No, we'll cover it tomorrow. We've covered Brian Leake. Song was very nice. Has everyone enjoyed themselves in the live stream? Let me know in the chat. I know you're all going to say 4 more hours, but we're not going to. How many people are watching? Let's have a little look.
Yeah, I got a little something else. I've tracked down my web designer, and we're starting to do a couple redesigning things.
So under maintenance is the Globe Terminator, right?
I guess you could probably say that a little bit. Yeah, I would. Yeah. Yes.
Oh, well, that's exciting. So good things to come on the globeterminator.com. Look forward to seeing it. Anything else? No? Well, with that, I'm going to say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Programming Streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, though, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So another massive thank you to all of you. Hit me up on Ko-Fi and PayPal and smash the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley. Another massive thank you to today's Discord and G+ panels, and I will see you all in the next video.